Hello, Course 3 students, and welcome to lesson 1.7. This is our last lesson before we go ahead and take a quiz on this unit. Not necessarily the last lesson for this unit completely, but we will be taking a quiz after we are done with this assignment. So we'll take a little bit to review and take the quiz. So your last part before this quiz is being able to multiply and divide your integers. And I actually think that multiplying and dividing your integers is a lot easier than adding or subtracting your integers. And so our agenda for today is to review those multiplication and division rules for your integers, as well as go through 3 examples on multiplying and dividing integers. Remember, we've talked a lot about integers, but remember your integers mean any whole number, whether in the sense of it's positive or negative. So I can't have necessarily, so it can be positive or negative. I'm trying to give an example that it couldn't be, but it couldn't be pi, but things kind of like that. So our multiply and divide are 2 integers. So if the signs are the same, the sign of the answer is positive. So if they're both positive answers and you solve them out, it's still going to be positive. If they're both negative, basically what ends up happening is they cancel each other out and becomes positive. Whether it is dividing or multiplying, the same rule applies, okay? If then signs are different, the sign of the answer is negative. So this is a cool one because the answers are very concrete, unlike addition or subtraction, where it really depends on what types of numbers you have. No matter what happens in multiplication and division, if you're multiplying 2 negatives, it's going to be positive. If they're 2 positives, they're going to be positive. If you're multiplying a positive and a negative, it's going to be negative. If you're dividing a positive and a negative, it's going to be negative. So this is also something I would strongly suggest that you write down. Take the minute to pause the video, write down these rules if you can't remember them very easily. That way you can always flip back in your notes and go, oh yeah, now I remember what the rules are. Okay, so take a minute, pause the video, write it out. All right, let's continue on then. So we have 3 examples, like I said, to go through, and our first one is going to be very just kind of basic on multiplying and dividing your integers. So we have multiplication and division problems. Now for B and for D, usually this is going to be kind of actually written in a fraction form. I just can't write it very easily on, or type it on the computer very easily. Okay, so that's how it would look like. But let's start with A. This is a multiplication problem. And if we go back and look at our rules, it says that if the signs are different, the sign of the answer is going to be negative. Well, one's positive, one's negative. So then I just think, okay, what's 5 times 4? 5 times 4 is 40. Since they're opposite signs, I have a negative 40 as my solution. All right. B, again, I have opposite signs, so that means that my answer or my solution is going to be negative. So I just think 45 divided by 9. 45 divided by 9 is 5, and my solution stays negative. To me, I think it seems very, very much more simple. If you know your basic multiplication facts, it's just understanding if your answer is going to be positive or negative. C, then I have a negative and a negative. They're both the same sign. So that means that they are going to have a positive answer. So I just got to think 12 times 3, which is 36, and it's a positive 36. Usually when we write positive numbers, we just leave them like this. You no need to add a plus sign in front of it, and just keep it this way, 36. And our last one here, we've got 32 divided by negative 8. They are opposite signs, so that means my answer is going to be negative. And then I just think, okay, 32 divided by 8, which is 4. So you have an answer of negative 4. Pause the video whenever you need to. We are going to continue on. Somehow there ended up being an extra page in here. That's fun. Let's continue on. Example 2, using the order of operations of integers. So now we get to think of our integer rules and using your order of operations. So remember, that is your PEMDAS. This is something I know we reviewed closer to the beginning of the year on things that you needed to practice, because these are skills that you're going to continue to have in almost all math as you continue going into your math education. Okay, so our direction is just to simplify each expression, or basically find your answer, your solution. So we are going to use different kind of operations, but to be honest, most of these are using they have a problem, or they're showing a distributive property problem. So I'm going to actually take this first problem and show you 2 different ways you can do it, but then show you which way would probably save you a little more time as you go through. Okay? Again, you can do it in either way that you prefer. I'm just going to probably end up solving it the way that I end up preferring as we go through, but there are 2 different ways to solve this. So as I said, the distributing property. Because all of this part, in part A here, 2 minus 8 is in parentheses, what happens with this -3 is I have to distribute it or bring it to each part within the parentheses. So this -3 would go to the -2. This -3 would go to the 8. All right? Well, then I could think of multiplication. That's what it means when I'm distributing it like this. I'm going to have to multiply. -3 times a +2. Well, they're opposite signs, so I'm going to have 3 times 2, which is 6, and keep it the negative because they're opposite signs. All right, I still have a subtraction problem in the middle here, and then I'm going to think, okay, -3 times 8, opposite sign, so it's going to be a negative number. 8 times 3 is 24, so I'm going to have -24. I don't like having the double negatives here, so that's why I use the parentheses. But remember, a negative and a negative makes a positive, so I'd have -6 plus then 24. In that case, if I'm going to add them, I would think, okay, now I have to think of my I have to think of my addition rules with my integers. And I take the absolute value of 24, which is 24. I take the absolute value of 6, which is 6, subtract the 2. And I keep the sign of the larger within the positive sign. So 24 was larger and it was positive, so I'm going to have a positive 18. To me, that seems like more work and more rules to remember. And so I'm going to show you another example here. Let's pick a new color. I don't know, pink sounds good. All right, so let's go and look at this and let's do it a different way. So another way that you can solve this, why did this get bigger? Let's do this purple. So -3, I'm just going to rewrite it so it's a little nicer, -8. Now if you're thinking of your order of operations, what do you do first? The first thing you do is you solve out the parentheses. So I would first do what is 2 minus 8. Hey, we can't necessarily do that easily, so we switch it to an addition problem. So you can change it to 2 plus, remember we're changing this to an addition, the opposite of a +8, which is -8. And again, I just like to add parentheses around those negatives. Now I can add these 2 together. All right, now I got to go back and think about my integer rules. All right, so I'd have a +8 minus the +2, because I'm taking those absolute values, 6. 8 was originally negative, so I have a -6. So that leaves me with -3 with a -6 on the inside. All I have to do is multiply these, and I get a +18. So I have this same answer. So there's 2 different ways you can do it. Whichever one you prefer, I wanted to show you that You can follow the order of operations, but if you use that distributing property, you're still going to get the same answer. So more than likely, I'm going to continue though with solving within your parentheses here, okay? So I'm going to solve within the parentheses first, but what I'm going to do, instead of making this a subtraction, let's change it to adding the opposite. So -7 plus then -2. So now I have a double parentheses in here, and this is just keeping this negative with it. So really all I have to do is -7 plus -2 now. Remember, they're both negatives, so you just add the two numbers up, 7 and 2, which is 9, and keep that negative sign. So now I have 4 times -9. 4 and 9, if I multiply them, is 36. They are opposite signs, and I get a negative answer, so -36. All right, it is a few steps for this, and it's going to be really important that you understand your addition as well as your subtraction of integers. So take a moment to pause if you need to. Take a breath. I know it's a lot to take in if you need to. Sometimes, you know what, maybe it's not as hard as you think, and you can just keep going. But if you really need to, take a breath. It's totally fine. It's a lot. It's a lot to go through. All right, and then C. So this one's easy. I can do 14 minus 6 pretty fast. 14 minus 6 is 8. So then I just have -2 times 8. Well, 2 times 8 is 16. They're opposite signs, so it's -16. And those are your solutions for those problems. All right, one more problem. We've got a word problem here. Alrighty, so this one is a sports application, and we're going to talk about football. I don't know the rules of football very well. Someone might need to teach me better. But here's what it says. It says a football team runs 10 plays. On 6 plays, it has a gain, oh, I didn't spell it right, of 4 yards. Hey, this sounds like a pretty good time to pause and tell you your code word. Our code word for today is going to be tape. Tape is your code word. All right, so they say on 6 plays, it has a gain of 4 yards. I need to put a sign on my door so people don't walk in while I'm recording videos. Let's start all over again. All right, a football team runs 10 plays. On 6 plays, it has a gain of 4 yards each. On 4 plays, it has a loss of 5 yards each. Each gain in yards can be represented by a positive integer, and each loss can be represented by a negative integer. Find the total net change in yards. Meaning, I want to know how many yards did they gain, did they lose, what happened towards the end. So they say that each gain in yards can be a positive integer. So we're gaining, we're getting up, we're adding. So it says on 6 plays, it has a gain of 4 yards. That's going to be important. Then they say, and each loss can be represented by a negative. So this is our addition. We're adding some of this stuff. We might need to multiply too. On 4 plays, it has a loss of 5 yards each. This is showing me some addition. So we have a total of 10 plays, 6 and 4. So each play for 6, because it says on this one, it says for each, okay? So there were 6 plays. Each time they gained 4 yards. So if I wanted to figure out how many yards they gained in total, multiplying it by 4. All right, and then they had 4 plays, and there was a loss of 5 yards each. So that's showing me a -5. Again, that's going to show me how much they did in those 4 plays. And then I'm just going to add the 2 together. Okay, so using my integer rules to multiply, I've got 6 times 4 is 24. Alrighty, so now I've gotten an addition problem. Again, using my integer rules, I am going to end up subtracting the 2. I get an answer of +4 because this was originally it. So they gained 4 yards. See you guys next time.